Hi, everybody. Welcome to Babylon Bullshit, Hopeless and Bitter, a podcast where a hopeless romantic and a bitter asshole, you've probably figured out which one is which at this point, talk about relationships of all kinds, romantic, sexual, friendships, family, all that good stuff. Situationships, if you want to talk about those too. I don't know. That's a common phrase now in millennial chat, I guess. I'm Lilith.
I'm Will. Hello.
And today I think we're going to be talking about like communication.
Yeah,
right?
which is it's vital for any kind of relationship.
Yeah.
Anything from like the most infrequent person you see to the, to your partner of many years. Like how you communicate does really define whether or not you can actually interact with other people.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And we're going to focus on, that in a more dating and romantic relationship context, but this is stuff that is important across the board. Like no one walks into Subway and like looks at the workers like, make my fucking sandwich. Like you don't
If you walk into Subway and do that, I hate you as a person.
Well, okay, first question, why are you in Subway?
Why are you in Subway?
Second question, why are you like that?
Yeah. First question, why are you in Subway when there are better sandwich places like Jersey Mike's?
Or you could literally just spend that money at the grocery store and make your own damn sandwich.
Right.
Or four.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, so communication is pretty critical to any sort of relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Last week we talked about blob couples.
Yes.
The kind of couple who do not communicate. Mm-hmm. Instead, they simply latch on to each other more tightly. That really can be avoided with some very simple communication skills. Now, I'll be the first to admit, there are times when I do not want to communicate with people. Very often, I will look at a situation and go, no, I don't want to do that. Bye. And I will voluntarily forego communicating.
Right.
On the other side, there are times when I've sat people down and said, hey, you and I seem to have a problem. Let's talk it out.
Right.
And get it behind us. I mean, shit, Lil and I do this where we're literally communicating into microphones in the hope that people will listen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Communication skills are not something you and I lack.
Yeah. I don't like confrontation. I hate confrontation. So I tend to avoid that, which unfortunately sometimes means I don't communicate. If I know that there is going to be a confrontation in that communication.
There's a difference between communicating and being antagonistic.
Yeah.
And so, here's a good example. I have a younger brother. He and I frequently argue. Mm-hmm. But we don't argue to piss each other off. Mm-hmm. We debate things. Generally, neither one of us is convinced by the other's argument. That's just simply how it goes. But we have a mostly civil debate about things that ends with one of us calling the other one a butthead because when we talk to each other, we're 9 years old again. And that's the end of it. Mm-hmm. But at its core, if you take everything else away, all communication in any relationship is expressing your point of view to someone else. Mm-hmm. Literally it.
Yeah.
And it's honestly challenging for some people. I don't know if you've noticed this over the course of the podcast. Lil knows this because they've known me for years. I have a stutter on occasion. Mm-hmm. The reason I stutter is because I try to say several things at the same time.
Your mouth tends to work a little bit faster than your brain sometimes.
Problem is actually the opposite. My brain is running faster than my mouth.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to say the 8 thoughts I just had all at the same time, and it comes out
right.
Nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. For the record, I'm not laughing at the stutter, just so everyone is aware. Like, I'm not laughing at Will's issue. Like, I was mostly laughing at the face he was just making. Because it looked like he was very much struggling with just life in general at this moment.
Yeah, I mean, that's just normal.
Yeah, yeah. But I've like the stutter never like I remember when we first met, I noticed it. But I never said anything about it because I was just like, oh, okay, he has a stutter, like it's no big deal. Because
it used to be really bad.
It was when we first met.
Yeah.
It was far worse.
Yeah.
And especially like the first few times that we hung out, it definitely came out because I could tell it was a nervous thing. But I didn't say anything about it because I didn't care.
Well, also because you're not a monster.
No, because I'm not an asshole. I'm not a piece of shit. So I'm like, oh, he has a stutter. Okay, that's fine. And then you brought it up.
Yeah.
Because you were bitching to me about something, and it was really bad that day because you were so frustrated, and you stopped, and I looked at you and I was like, I'm gonna need you to breathe, and you were like,
deep breath.
My stutter's really bad right now. I'm so sorry. And I was like, first of all, I'm going to need you to not apologize for something that you can't control at the moment. Like, that's not, like, yes, oh my God, how dare you have a stutter? Like, I don't fucking care, my guy. Like, no one gives a shit.
Well, that's the thing. For some people, expressing themselves is physically incredibly difficult.
Exactly, yeah.
As Lil pointed out, when I get really frustrated, really excited, basically any overwhelming emotion, I try to say 25 things at the same time, and my stutter comes out real hard. So for some people, it's actually physically difficult to communicate, especially in high stress confrontational situations when you're talking about something that's uncomfortable or deeply personal. It can be physically difficult to just get the words out.
Yeah. I just remember there were so many times that you would like stop and apologize for stuttering. And I'm like, could you stop doing that? Like, I don't care. I just need you to like fucking breathe for a second, dude. Like I'm running out of breath listening to you because you're so overwhelmed right now trying to get the words out. I just need you to like stop and it's going to be fine. Just don't apologize for something that is beyond your control at the moment.
Well, this is
it's fine.
This is one of the things I've learned as I've gotten older. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. I don't have to say 9 thoughts at once.
Exactly.
It's taken me a long time.
Yeah.
And a lot of therapy.
Yeah.
But my stutter only comes out now generally when I'm really, really, really tired. Like beyond sleep deprived.
Yeah.
Or
when you get excited, when you get like really excited, when I get excited
or like flustered about something, then it comes out. And like if I get even the slightest bit tipsy,
okay,
I have to make a conscious effort not to stutter.
Okay,
because alcohol removes any inhibitions,
right? Yeah.
So I try to basically muscle my way through saying 9 things at the same time, and it never works.
Right.
But for people who struggle to communicate, whether it's physical or simply they don't like confrontation, or they're not this is the other big one for a lot of people. They're not sure. They're convinced that what they have to say isn't important, especially in any kind of romantic relationship where you are. If you have an issue with your partner or with your relationship, a lot of people will look at that issue and go, it's not really worth bringing up. That's just going to cause a fight, and I don't want to start a fight, and this is just a little thing, and it's not worth it. If you're dating someone, and you have been for a while, you need to be able to sit down and talk and say, hey, I got this little thing, not a big deal, but can we talk about it? And if your partner is anything that resembles a decent human being, they'll go, yeah, what's up? And you'll talk. Just as a good example, one of my exes, who actually, bless this poor woman, I've never met anyone in my entire life who wanted to communicate this much in a relationship. She wanted to tell me everything, every thought that popped into her head. That kind of openness is rare, exhausting, but honestly kind of nice.
Right.
We would talk about every little thing that bothered us all the time, which meant we very rarely argued, which was really nice.
Yeah.
'Cause every time something even began to get a little bad, we'd sit down and talk about it. We only broke up because she moved away. Like, that's it. Hers was a little bit tiring at first. Had to get used to that level of communication. But it was kind of nice.
Yeah.
And it's really not that hard. Now, this is one where I'm going to be asking Lil a lot of questions because you've been with your partner for how many years?
11.
11 years.
Yeah.
I've been single for 6, so let's not take me as the expert here. I'm assuming you guys talk about things when things come up.
Yeah, for the most part. There are definitely times where I tend to wait to talk about things until they kind of bubble to the surface.
Now,
that's on me.
Well, are you waiting to see if it's an actual issue or because you don't want to bring it up?
Porque no los dos.
Yeah.
It kind of depends on what it is. Like sometimes it's because it's just not really much of an issue. But if it continues,
stop leaving forks in the sink. We're not going to bring that up. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, it's not that deep. Like
this is mildly irritating and will be for 18 seconds. I'm just going to ignore it. Yeah.
Right. Not putting toilet paper on the roll.
Okay,
like, not switching that.
That one would be a talk from me.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that.
It drives me a little insane, but like I've already asked him about it and he still won't do it. And I'm like, okay, you know what?
Cap on the toothpaste is
not even worth the fucking effort to like, I've already asked you to when you replace the toilet paper, put it on the actual thing. You're still not
just
doing
on the on the back of the toilet.
Yeah, and you're still not fucking doing it. And I've already asked you 6 times to do it and you're still not. You know what? Obviously, this is not something that bothers you that much. And so I'm going to try not to let it bother me that much.
It's just toilet paper, so at the end of the day, who cares? Yeah.
It's not that deep. It's not. But, for the most part, like, if there are things that are bothering either of us, we try to talk about it. We just don't have... As of right now, I mean, like, we don't have, like, big concerning issues. It's always, like, little piddly things that, like, I tend to be kind of passive aggressive. It's a toxic behavior of mine. I know, right? It's a problem. I definitely have a bad habit of being passive aggressive. So he'll, like, clean up the kitchen and he'll make a comment of, like, can you help me keep the kitchen clean? And I'm like, I don't know. Can you help me keep the bathroom clean? Because I'm always the one cleaning the bathroom. And he is like, well, the last time it got clean, I scrubbed it. And I was like, that was literally 6 months ago. The last 4 times it was cleaned was because I cleaned it. Like, what are you actually talking? Every time I mention cleaning the bathroom, you mention how the last time you cleaned it, you scrubbed it. But that was 6 fucking months ago, my guy.
But you two actually have those conversations rather than you just going and just like bottling it up and walking away. Yeah. And that's the key. Everyone seems to think that there's this misconception that if you communicate well in a relationship, everything in the relationship will be peaches forever. No. Like that's not. No.
Yeah.
It just means that stuff that could eventually torpedo a relationship gets actually brought out into the light of day and discussed. At the end of the day, I don't think you or your partner really gives 2 shits who cleans the kitchen or the bathroom as long as it gets done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Neither one of you is gonna, let that be the hill you die on. Who cleans part of the house?
No. There's definitely other things I will die on. It's definitely not cleaning the fucking toilet.
Yes. As long as it gets done,
who
gives a shit who does it?
Right.
Exactly. Something that one of the nice thing about being single, surrounded by people who are in relationships, is you get to kind of observe them from the outside. Mm-hmm. I have watched a lot of my friends in long-term relationships, both people in the relationship, come to me to bitch about their partner. Mm-hmm. And every time they finish, my same thought, and what I always say is, why the fuck are you telling me this? If you're annoyed at your partner for something they're doing, I get needing to vent.
Yeah.
Absolutely get needing to vent. But if you don't talk to them about the problem, it's never going to stop.
Sure. I think one of the things that people tend to do and what needs to happen is they need to vent to other people so that they can get the anger and frustration out, so that when they can talk to their partner, they can go, cool, I can come to you with a level head now and give you all of my actual thoughts, as opposed to, you are such a fuck and I want to punch you in the face. You know what I mean? Like, we have to get those out, especially in very long-term relationships. We have to get those thoughts out. We have to get that frustration out to someone on the outside, because if I went to my partner every time I was pissed off at him, we would not have lasted. Like, we would have broken up within the first 6 months.
You'd also be in prison.
I mean, probably, because I probably would have murdered him. But like I have to bitch to other people before I come to him with anything, so that I can come to him with a level head and say, hey, we need to talk about this thing because it's bothering me.
I mentioned a few episodes ago, an ex of mine and I had this rule. We would, if we got into an argument, one of us would try to stop and say, all right, half hour. Yeah. And we would walk away from each other for 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't leave the house, just away for half an hour.
Right.
And the idea was to calm down, which is what venting can do for you. That way, when you go to the person, you can have a rational, productive conversation. You can calmly say, hey, this is the thing that I have an issue with, and they can calmly and rationally respond. One of the challenges for a lot of people when they're communicating with anyone, especially in a relationship, is this perception that whoever you're talking to, your partner, your friends, whatever, aren't understanding what you're saying. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times they're not, honestly, because you're not explaining it well. Mm-hmm. Like with my stutter, when people get overly emotional, they don't communicate terribly well. It goes from, here's a rational explanation of my point to, how the fuck are you not getting this? Why are you so stupid?
Right.
Just like my stutter, you have to take a minute, slow down, take a breath, and explain yourself.
Right.
One of the hardest things in any, especially early on in any romantic relationship, is explaining what you want to your partner sexually. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are worried that if they ask for things that they think might be weird, it might push their partner away. Mm-hmm. And you know what? It might. It honestly might, depending on what it is.
Depending on what it is. Yeah.
It honestly might.
Yeah.
But you still have to be willing. You have to be able to communicate that to them. Past the fear of, if I say this, they might break up with me.
Right.
That's hard to do. Mm-hmm. Once you've been with someone for a while, it becomes less of an issue to say things like, okay, well, this is what I want to try in bed, or I'd really like to do. I really want to shave my head. Thoughts tend to come out a little more easily because you know how the person's going to respond. Mm-hmm. When you've just met someone, when you're new to dating, their response isn't guaranteed, and that keeps a lot of people from speaking up.
Right.
And I get that fear. It's very difficult to say something that requires someone else to respond to you without knowing what they're going to say. I'm a writer. I send out probably 6 or 8 queries a week. I have absolutely no idea, and there's no metric for being able to judge what a producer or agent or manager or actor or anyone's response is going to be. Anything from, complete excitement to just nothing.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way to tell.
Right.
When I first got into writing, I was terrified of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't get a response back, then there's the 1,000 questions of what's wrong with my idea? Why didn't they like it?
Right.
Am I good enough to do this? It eats at you.
Yeah.
If they do respond and then just say no, then it's the okay. Could you elaborate?
Could you tell me why? No. No, we can't.
And then when they say yes, it's the happy moment that I didn't prepare for, so I don't know what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to push past that fear, especially early in any relationship.
Mm-hmm.
If relationship's going to tank, better to tank it early.
Yeah.
Than be 6 months, a year, 2 years in and go, uh-oh, what did I do?
Right.
You especially don't want to be in the position of moving in with a partner and then have them do something where you're like, oh no.
Right.
Like you put the toilet paper on with the roll facing the other. Oh. Like
If you do toilet paper like underside, you're wrong.
you've also never had a pet. So, because we had dogs growing up and we had to do it the other way with it going under.
Oh.
Because that stopped them from grabbing it and just running around the house with it.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah, I didn't grow up with a pet.
yeah.
Yeah. We have cats, but we keep the bathroom door closed. So,
Well, there's probably a good reason for that.
yeah. We also have like the cleaning stuff
Yeah.
in the bathroom.
And cats are, on occasion, unfortunately curious.
I have a pretty dumb cat, so she's very pretty. Our Torty's very smart, but when she derps hard. And then my cat, my pretty little Tabby, she's pretty.
Is this the cat version of "It's a good thing you're pretty"? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, like she does something and I'm like, "Oh, you're pretty." Like but she's got the cutest little mew, like, because she still sounds like a kitten. She's 8. She's 8. She's going to be 9, and she still looks and sounds like a baby.
Yeah.
And it's the sweetest thing.
Do you know there's I don't know who's doing this, but you can get a dog that's crossbred between a corgi and a husky.
Yeah. No, I've seen those, and they're very cute.
It looks like a miniature husky.
I know.
Because apparently, if you cross a corgi with anything, it just looks like a miniature version.
Yeah.
Of the other thing,
I love corgis.
which is amazing.
I love corgis. I want one.
So you can literally get miniature huskies, which is hilarious.
I love corgis.
The other big thing about any relationship communication, anything at all, is you have to be honest about what you're feeling.
Yeah.
I have so many times heard and honestly been the person who told white lies to a partner not to upset them.
Mm-hmm.
Honey, does it bother you when I do this? No, of course not.
Mm-hmm.
The fact something bothered you, if I'd said yes in that situation, it wouldn't really make that much of a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does bother me a little when you don't put the cap back on the peanut butter. Is it a big deal?
Who fucking leaves the cap off the peanut butter though?
But it's not a big deal either way. I put it back on immediately when I'm done.
Right.
But it's really not a big deal either way because it's going to get put back on soon regardless. Yeah. So it doesn't really affect anything.
Right.
Those little white lies are what can eventually snowball.
Right.
And get real bad. That whole hey, do I look fat in this? Yes, there's a correct answer to that. Don't ever say yes. Don't be that. Come on. You're like, don't be that stupid.
Right.
Like, I mean, if I really hope I don't have to explain why that's important. Like, but you can say things like, I don't think that looks good on you. Mm. Maybe that's not your color.
Right.
Don't go with horizontal stripes. I don't know. Like, there are ways to communicate that will get your point across without hurting someone's feelings. Just as a fun example, Lil and I have known each other for, what's it been? 15 years?
Something like that.
At first, when we first met, you were much less abrasive.
Mm-hmm.
And I was honestly much more polite than I am now. But after a while, we both learned that we don't need to soften ourselves around the other. Mm-hmm. We can be what other people would consider abusive to each other and know that it's just how we talk to each other.
Right.
I assume, however, that when you meet someone new, let's say a friend's new partner or something, you soften your personality a little bit.
Sure, yeah.
Everyone does.
Yeah, of course.
Some people really should more often. But we do that because we're not sure whether or not the person is going to like the version of us, the actual version of us. And we don't want to lie about it. So we just kind of tone it down a touch.
Yeah.
The hard part in that situation is when you've told that little white lie. When you've told your partner, "Oh, I love that dress on you." When you've said, "Oh, no, I don't. I love raw oysters." Like, yeah. How do you get yourself out of it? Because eventually you're going to trap yourself in those. Mm-hmm. I have a friend who has he and his partner go once a week to a pizza place that he hates because on their third date she mentioned that it was one of her favorite pizza places, and and reflexively he said, "Oh, mine too." It's been a year and a half. He hasn't told her.
Oh no.
And I know them both. She really wouldn't give a shit if they went somewhere else for pizza.
Right.
It really wouldn't affect anything.
Right.
He's just trapped himself in that corner.
Oh, no.
Because he told a little white lie when they first started dating.
Oh, no.
I'm going to guess. What do you think the most common white lies in relationships are?
I mean, it just kind of depends, but, things like that, like, oh, yeah, that's my favorite restaurant, too. Oh, yeah, that's one of my favorite movies. Oh, that's one of my favorite TV shows. Little things like that.
Yeah.
It's nothing that isn't, super wild. Like, it's not like being lied to about.
I only killed one hobo.
Right, or already being in a relationship, which has happened to me before.
Oh God, yeah, that's You told me about that.
Yeah, this was like a long time ago, before my partner, where I was talking to this person, and I honestly didn't care. I didn't care. Because I was just asking the question because I wanted to know, if he was seeing other people, I wanted to know so that I knew that I could see other people.
Yeah.
Because
if
it was just going to be casual, then I wanted to make sure, because I wanted to be fair in the situation and I wanted to be open about it, right?
Yeah, that's just equitable.
Yeah. And I even had said, hey, I'm not looking for a serious relationship. I'm not looking for a relationship at all. I just want to know what the situation is. If you're, seeing other people, cool. If not, also cool. I just want to know. Oh no, I'm not seeing anybody else. You're the only one I'm talking to. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's fine. I'm going to have the same respect. Come to find out, he had been dating somebody for 2 years.
Jesus fucking Christ.
And the only reason I found out was because she got his phone and sent me a text after I had texted him. And I was like, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and delete your number now. Bye. And like, that's so shitty. Don't do that. That's not a white lie. That's a bold-faced lie.
Every now and then you will say to me, why men?
Why men?
And you know what? Yeah, I agree.
Just why?
Like,
because and the thing is, like, why lie about that when I was upfront about what I was looking for? Like, all you had to do was tell me, oh yeah, no, I am seeing other people. Like, but not only that, like, it was, you have been in a committed relationship and you were talking to me, and I'm like, ooh, yeah, what we're not doing is that.
the one that killed, and this is a very specific example of, why not to lie to someone when you meet them. This was several years ago, and we were at a venue here. The concert had ended, and there's this guy up at the bar, and he's not a friend of mine, an acquaintance. I don't know him well enough to be friends with him. But I just don't know the guy. I do know that at the time he lived in a nice apartment, and had a decent job, nothing insane. And he's telling this woman he's talking to at the bar that he lives in a multi-million-dollar house and that he's a lawyer, and then he made some comment about how I'm going to Zurich tomorrow night on my jet, and yeah, I'm to this day I'm assuming and hoping that he was very, very drunk. The problem is that she absolutely wasn't buying it.
Yeah.
And everyone else within earshot could see that except him. So he just kept laying it on thicker and thicker. And I kept thinking to myself, dude, what happens if she agrees to go home with you?
You know what?
Like,
you know what that makes me think of? The movie 50 First Dates?
Yes. Which
How the beginning of that, which, first of all, I love that movie. I think that movie is fucking adorable. Okay. Love like that is not real. My partner, I can barely get him to buy fucking groceries, and yet this man is making a videotape every single day to remind this woman of who she is, who she's married to. Like, what?
Yeah,
Are you fucking joking? I can't get my partner to just like hold my hand in public, and this man is making a goddamn videotape every single fucking day. No.
it would be easier now with smartphones, but
It's bullshit. It's infuriating how adorable that is.
how many times do you want to guess he just reused the same tape for a few days because he didn't feel like doing it?
No, that's the thing. It's like almost every, like, he pretty much, like, he does like the beginning part he'll reuse, but it's like the ending is when he, like,
I've not seen it in years because
my God, it's so good.
Oh, no. I remember very much enjoying it.
It makes me cry every single fucking time.
There's
That
a
movie.
long list of things that make you cry.
I know, but that movie is so cute, but also it infuriates me because I'm like, look, like, that isn't real. It's a lie.
It's also a movie, not a documentary.
I know, but also love like that is a lie. Love is a lie. But that's neither here nor there. But at the beginning of the movie,
They say on the Dating and Relationship podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, love is a lie. It's fine.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody.
But at the beginning of the movie, it's like this montage of women talking about this man that they met in Hawaii, and he's this and he's that and he's just amazing and he's so this and blah 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 blah. And it was like this weekend that they spent with this amazing man who was a scuba diving instructor. He was a flight instructor. He was this, he was that, he was all these things. Complete and utter lies. And every time they would be like, well, can I at least get your email? Can I get your phone number? Can I do this? And he's just like, no, I gotta go. And like one of the things that he told somebody was like, he was like an FBI agent or something. And that was how he managed to like get away from the, it all, one night stands from, Hawaii vacations.
Yeah.
and made up all these lies because he knew he was never going to see these women again because they were on vacation.
That's why I kept looking at this guy in the bar like, dude, what happens if this lie works?
Right.
Like what happens if you get her home?
Right.
You don't live in the house you claim to. I watched you pull up in a, honestly, in need of service, several-year-old Honda Civic.
Right.
Not the Maserati you claim you have.
Right.
Like,
it was the fact that, like, you know, so he would like go to their hotel room and like that's how he like got around stuff. And it's just such a funny opening because, you know, they all thought they were sleeping with this like magnificent man, this rich dude, he's a guy who takes care of penguins at the aquarium.
which honestly, that's a cool job.
It's a cool job. So
I would just tell people I did that.
yeah, exactly. And
what do you do all day? I play with penguins.
Right.
Like,
I play with penguins and I feed a walrus.
unless you're Benedict Cumberbatch and then you play with penguins.
Penguins. But like, it's such a funny opening because these women are convinced that they have met this like amazing man, and he's just a guy at an aquarium.
It's the pickup artist version of the Nigerian prince scam.
Yeah.
Like
But like, he doesn't scam them out of anything. He doesn't ask for money. He doesn't do anything. It's literally just for sex for a weekend.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm like, that's fucking brilliant. He knows he's never going to see them again. But it's these like just outrageous, elaborate lies.
There was...
And it's so goddamn funny.
One of the ones that always gets me, because everyone lies a little bit in any sort of relationship, whether it's a business relationship or friendships or, you know, or romances. Mm-hmm. You tell little lies. You do. If a friend walks up to you and says, "Hey, do you like these new shoes I got?"
Yeah.
Unless they're just beyond hideous, you're going to tell your friend, if they seem to really like the new shoes, "Yeah, I like those." Mm-hmm. That's not a lie that affects anybody. If they're genuinely hideous, then you're like, okay, you know what? Do you like them?
Right.
Are you sure? Like, yeah.
Normally, if it's like not my style, that's usually what I'll tell. I'll be like, you know what? Not something I would wear.
Yep.
However, they are 100% your style, and I love them for you.
Yeah.
And that's how my friends and I will communicate with stuff like that.
Yeah.
When it's like, I wouldn't wear it, not because I think it's ugly, but because it's not my style of thing.
But little absolutely meaningless lies are common.
Yeah.
100% common. When was the last time? I'll actually answer this. I cannot remember the last time that I passed someone random on the street and said, "Hey, how's it going?" and actually cared what their answer was. It's just a greeting.
Yeah.
It's just hello. I'm not actually asking. Mm-hmm.
I could not give a shit how people are doing.
And if somebody stopped and went, "Well, you know, I'm having kind of a day," I'd be like, "I'm sorry, that's on me. I made you think I gave a shit, and that's my fault. I apologize."
Bad.
Little lies in relationships happen. Any kind of relationship.
Yeah.
And most of the time, it's lies that don't matter.
Right.
I know for a fact that for over almost 5 decades of marriage, my mom has asked my dad for the croutons off his salad at every restaurant they've ever gone to. My dad likes croutons, and he says, "No, go ahead. I don't like croutons." Every single time. Without fail. I know this. And Dad has said to me every last time, because I've asked him about it, croutons will never make or break a salad, and if they do, it was a really bad salad.
Yeah.
He likes croutons, but he doesn't care. So he just says, "I don't like them, go ahead." And just gives them to her.
Oh.
Every time. Little lies like that.
That's adorable.
See? Little lies like that.
That is so cute.
Little lies like that are fine because they actively make someone else happy and they do not matter.
That's really cute.
But this jackwagon that I saw for the show who's telling women that he's, I guess, God's gift to humanity, every lie he was telling is unsustainable because those very, very quickly will get discovered.
Yeah.
Before we began recording, Lil and I made a comment about asking Lil to keep the mic 6 to 8 inches from her face, and then said, you know, a real 6 to 8
Whose
inches.
face?
I am fucking this up left and right.
You
today.
had it in the first half.
I did.
And then you fucked it up in the second half.
God damn. Asked to keep the mic 6 to 8 inches from their face.
There you go.
And then said a real 6 to 8 inches, not what guys say 6 to 8 inches are. And again, that's one of those lies that, guys, I got some bad news for you. If you tell a woman you're packing 8 inches and you're not,
They're gonna figure it out.
You're gonna get found out.
Yeah.
Like,
because if you get lucky enough to be able to show your dick to somebody, they're gonna figure out that you're not actually 8 inches.
Yeah.
So, and I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. A person with a vagina does not care how big you are, as long as it is not a Donald Trump micropeen. They don't care.
it's true.
We just need you to know how to use it.
There now, I will
That's
give
it.
I will give you the same story that I told Lil earlier. I have a friend who she and her partner been dating for a while. He apparently claimed early on in their relationship that he was packing 8 inches.
Yep.
They have, of course, since slept together, and she confirms that he is not, but that what he is packing is absolutely acceptable.
Yeah.
To hear her tell it their sex life is wonderful.
I'm glad.
But she doesn't want to torpedo his self-esteem. So it's that, oh, honey, of course you have 8 inches. Good, yeah.
Good
Like,
for you.
And so she just lets him have it.
Yeah.
Because why not? Not hurting anybody.
Yeah.
Makes him feel better. Sure.
If the sex is good, it doesn't matter what size
Yeah.
it is. It really doesn't. Like,
And-
we don't care.
And that's one of those unsustainable lies that you can't tell because you're going to get caught.
no.
It's going to be one that comes out. It's noticeable. Like,
yeah.
unless you're going to look at someone, you know, gentlemen, if you look at a woman and say, hey, I have 8 inches, but you can't see it until I put it inside you. You're not getting laid.
No. No.
That will not work.
Yeah.
It just won't. I can't
No.
imagine a situation in which anyone would be like, that seems reasonable. Sure.
I mean, I personally don't want to see it. So.
But if someone said you physically may not catch a glimpse of it at all until I've begun using it on you, you would be suspicious.
I would. I would then ask them if they are a grower and not a shower.
I would assume that someone's question would be, what do you have, like open sores? Like is
Do
it,
you have a penis?
yeah, is it
Is it detachable? Because
That's fine.
I also have one of those.
on a slightly well, this whole show is tangents. Years ago when I first met Lil, there's a friend of mine who's very, very shy friend of mine. I don't know if you remember this. She'd never been to any sort of adult store.
Mm-hmm.
Very conservative, very shy.
Mm-hmm.
She very much wanted her first dildo.
Yeah.
And she was like 23. You gave me some advice to tell her friends of how to get her to go to an adult store because you used to work at.
I did. I worked at an adult store for a while.
And your advice was apparently very effective. It was, you told me to remind her that it's like any other shopping experience, and that it was basically all women who worked there anyway.
Yeah.
And so she finally went. She got one of the life molds of one of the only porn stars that she actually watched.
Oh,
Someone she found
nice.
very attractive.
Good.
I cannot remember his name. Apparently, he is quite large.
That's, not helpful.
Oh, Tommy Gunn.
I had the Tommy Gun one too.
Well, she is 4'10", maybe 90
oh my
pounds.
God, she could taste it
She couldn't,
in her throat.
she couldn't use it.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
She was crushed that she got this and was so excited to get it home and use it.
He's a big guy.
Could not use it.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Yeah,
I like Tommy Gunn. He's one of my favorites, and I had his, and I had trouble with it as well. He's a big dude. There we go. Now everyone is aware of my vagina. So you're welcome, I guess.
As if they weren't, congratulations, you have one, I guess?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
I mean, good for you.
Yay.
But back on topic, because these episodes have topics, I guess.
Sure.
Basically, the big trick in any relationship, like I said, business, anything from business to a committed partner, communication more than anything means that you have to be able to. It's a juggling act, knowing when to bring up issues that actually matter and when to just let things slide.
Right.
And a lot of times, little white lies are what you say just to let something slide, because some things really aren't worth dealing with.
Yeah.
Like my friend and her partner with the hypothetically 8-inch penis. Like that's not something that it's not an issue that she's willing to bring up, because it serves no purpose.
Yeah, if it ain't that deep, it ain't that deep. Like,
Ba-doom-tsh.
hey.
But that's when communication can be actually detrimental, and you have to know where the difference is. The other big trick, and I struggle with this one, is being willing to concede a point.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna argue with your partner, sometimes you're gonna lose.
Mm-hmm.
Just how it is.
Oh, I don't.
That's not true.
I don't lose.
Okay. Also, master the smile and nod, because it's very helpful. Whatever you say, champ.
I don't lose to my partner. He doesn't like arguing. He doesn't like having like.
So he's master the smile and nod. Yeah.
No. It's not even the smile and nod. He doesn't like arguing, and he doesn't like discussing things. So as soon as I start bringing up something that I like get frustrated,
he just changes it.
He literally is just like, cool, look at this picture of this cat. And I'm like,
your partner's a genius.
I'm like, are you fucking kidding? I'm literally trying to have like an actual conversation with you about something, and this is what you're doing.
And I'm assuming 10 seconds later, you're like, oh, kitty.
I'm like, yes, that's a cute cat. I'm trying to have a serious conversation with you about something. And he's just like, okay. He doesn't like arguing with me.
His way of avoiding argument is to attempt a distraction and then just pivot into complete apathy.
Yeah.
I fucking love it. That's great.
I don't love it, because especially if I'm trying to discuss something that is very important to me.
That's different, yeah.
And he just gets annoyed. So, like, that's where I get really frustrated with him sometimes.
To be fair, that could just
To be fair.
To be fair, that could just be that, he finds you annoying, not...
I am annoying. I'm not saying I'm not.
Like I said, Lil and I can occasionally sound abusive in our relationship. Really, we're not.
But
several people over Sisyphus episode have said, like, you and I sound like we hate each other. And I mean, we do a little bit.
A little, it's fine.
Just the right amount.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's kind of one thing that, like, I've tried to talk to him about stuff, about this specific issue where, like, I've told him, I'm like, I get really annoyed when I'm trying to talk about a topic that is really important to me and you couldn't give a shit. Like, you literally do everything in your power to change the subject because it's not something that interests you, but then I have to sit there and listen to your bullshit about things that interest you. Why can't I talk about something that I'm interested in?
Communication has to go both ways.
Yeah. And he's just like, I do listen to you. I'm like, but you don't.
Being physically present while someone is talking is not listening.
Right. I'm like, if I'm trying to talk about a very important feminist issue that is really near and dear to my heart, and you just stand there and, huff and puff and then try to change the subject by showing me a video of something, that's not paying attention to me. That's not listening to what I have to say, or, actually trying to learn something. I, on the other hand, listen to everything you have to say about things that you're passionate about, and I've actually learned things from you. You have learned fuck all about me. Like, this is the annoying part. And like, I've tried to communicate that, and that's where like I hit that roadblock with him. So that is definitely a big problem in our relationship over the last 11 years.
This is actually one of this is where people get tripped up.
Yeah.
It's
really annoying because like for the most part our relationship is pretty good. It really is.
Yeah.
Like we have pretty good communication and
I
everything,
know
but it's like
you wouldn't stay with someone who could not communicate openly with you.
Yeah, but it's like that little thing where it's like when I try to discuss things that are very important to me that I'm interested in, if he is not interested, he doesn't, there's no focus, and he tries to change the subject and stuff. And I'm just like, cool, I wasn't talking about something. I guess I'll go fuck myself. So like I've gotten to a point now that I just don't bother.
This is it's the other half,
which is also not healthy.
It's the other half of the communication coin. You have to be willing to talk, but you also have to be willing to listen.
Right.
And what people forget is that listening does not mean that you have to, sit down and make unblinking eye contact and take notes. Like, you just have to listen. There's something that so two of my friends are married. They have this. Whenever one of them is, has a problem, it comes to the other. The other will ask very quickly, vent or solution. Mm-hmm. And they'll pick one.
Yeah.
If it's vent, then the other one just goes, cool, go for it.
Yeah. That is something that we have definitely fixed.
Because sometimes when someone's talking to you about a problem they're having, they don't want you to solve it.
Yes.
They just want you to listen and let you get your frustration out.
So at the start of our relationship, there were a lot of times where I would complain about things and he would try to give me solutions. And I would get so fucking mad at him because I would be like, I am not asking for a solution. I just want you to fucking listen to me. And so that would start an argument because he would be like, but you're telling me your problems. I want to help you fix them. And I'm like, I'm not trying to fucking fix them. I just want to fucking complain. And so after a while, like one day I wanted to vent about something that happened at my job, and he looked at me and he was like, okay, wait. Before anything happens, we need to talk about something. And I was like, okay. And he's like, every time you complain about work, I try to give you a solution and you get mad at me. So what is the problem? And I'm like, sometimes when I want to complain, I just want to complain. And all I need to hear you say is, that fucking sucks. That's it. That's all I want to hear you say. And he's like, okay, what do you need from me today? And I'm like, I just want you to listen, and I need you to say, that fucking sucks.
And right there is the perfect example of how to communicate in a relationship. He noticed a problem. Mm-hmm. He asked you, hey, I keep doing this, and it seems to be going badly for me. What's wrong?
Yeah.
You told him what was wrong. He then said, great. How do I make sure this stops going wrong?
Yeah.
You told him.
Yep.
Done.
So now I basically am like, hey, if I need advice about something, I will go to him and be like, can I get your input on something? Mm-hmm. And he'll go, yes, of course. What is it? I'll tell him my problem. He'll help me out with some solutions. But then there are times where I go, I need to whine. Just, can I whine? And he's like, yeah. And so I will whine. And he whines to me. And I will ask him the same question, like, do you want like advice on something, or do you just want to complain? He's like, I just want to complain. And I'm like, all right, let's fucking complain.
Sometimes
let's
that's
have
all you need.
Yeah, let's have a goddamn bitch fest. Let's go. I love bitching. It's one of my favorite things to do, is just complain about life.
One of my friends and her girlfriend, they do once a week. They do wine and cheese nights, just the two of them.
Yeah.
Where they actually get they make a big ass charcuterie board. and get good wine, and then they just sit down and whine to each other about their weeks.
I love it. Yeah.
And I fucking love that. And apparently they go all out. Like this is a $100 charcuterie board. They go bananas with this shit.
I love it. No, that's great.
But that's the other side of this that people forget is you can talk about what you're feeling or your problems or anything, but you have to be willing to be the person on the other side listening as well. Because if you're just that person who just talks to everyone about yourself all the time, but you never want to hear about anyone else, you're going to very quickly find yourself to be alone.
Yep.
Wondering where everyone went.
Yep.
And it's going to be entirely your own fault. I got lucky in that I have a lot of siblings. I grew up with a lot of people. I'm used to having a lot of people talk to me.
Or talk at you.
Yeah. They're siblings. Half the time I could not tell you what they're saying.
So you're just kind of like, but
like I said, yeah. It's also where you get good at the smile and nod. So
because you were also like the youngest until your brother came along, right?
7th of 8.
Yeah.
So
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
That's so many children.
Going out like Catholic rabbits.
That's so many. That's 8 too many.
Yeah. No, I
said what I said.
I agree.
I know exactly what I said. In case
agree.
anyone is counting, yes, I said what I said.
Growing up, our family was not the largest in my school.
I believe that.
There was one family who I think they had like 13 or 14 kids. Yeah. Someone never communicated with them properly about contraceptives.
I have a secret for you people. You do not need to keep having children.
Or you can just start using condoms. Get a vasectomy.
Get fixed.
Yeah.
You do not have to keep having kids.
Or
it's okay. Or just don't have any, like me.
Or do what my birth mother did and put your kids up for adoption. Greatest decision anyone ever made for my life.
There you go.
Like,
yeah.
But I love that we just spin off on tangents.
Sorry.
But you have to be good at talking, expressing how you feel, which can be a big challenge. You have to be good at listening.
Not just listening, but hearing.
Yes, because there's a difference between listening and the smile and nod. When some rando in public is like, trying to tell you about this, really cool crypto thing they found online, break out the smile and nod, and just ignore it.
So I've been
like,
I've been told that I do the smile and nod.
Oh, you're a master of the smile and nod.
When a guy specifically, it's when a man is talking to me.
Okay, I have witnessed you do the smile and nod.
When a man is talking to me, when a man I don't want talking to me is talking to me, and they are trying to flirt with me, that's when I'm like,
I don't know if you.
Great.
I very much hope you remember this.
I'm so mean. I'm such a terrible person. I'm so mean.
I very much hope you remember this. One of the when we first met, there was a bar that we would go to because it was near my apartment.
Yeah.
And at one point, I went inside to go to the bathroom.
Yes.
We'd known each other for several weeks at this point.
I think we'd been hanging out for a couple of months.
You almost said seeing each other, didn't you?
Seeing each other.
You almost said it, didn't you?
Quote unquote, seeing each other.
We've
been fucking.
I noticed the look of revulsion flash across your face. And you're like, oh, never mind.
No, that's a terrible way to put that. We've been fucking for a few months.
I went inside into the bathroom and I came back out and there was some dude that I didn't know. And I went to this bar a lot. This was like this was my bar.
Yeah.
Someone I didn't recognize talking to you, and you just. I've never in my entire life understood what like fuck off eyes are until I saw that, because your look was one step away from, if you don't leave, the universe will smite you, because I told it to, and you are just smiling with the dead eyes, which you're very good at, and going and then I came back outside and you went, cool, let's go home. And got up and didn't even wait for me. You just walked past me into the bars because we were out on the patio.
Yeah.
That That is just, I mean, just guru levels of the smile and nod.
Thank you.
It was incredible. It's also incredible how oblivious he was to the fact that he could have burst into flames and it would not have raised your level of interest in what was happening.
No, I could not have given a shit. I don't even remember. I could not tell you what he was talking to me about. He was just talking at me, and I was like, that's great.
And it's...
Good for you.
Guys, in case you're curious, here's how to tell if a person you're talking to doesn't give a shit about what you're saying. It's what Lil was doing. It's the smile with the dead eyes. I don't care what their mouth is doing. Look at the eyes. The smile with the dead eyes means they're being polite. Just stop and go away.
Yeah. I've since learned fuck politeness.
Yeah.
I no longer do that. So if somebody is talking to me and I am not interested in what they have to say, I tell them that I don't care. I literally am just like, I'm not interested, but thank you.
One of my friends has a move that okay, so first of all, she's very attractive. She comes out drinking with us all, usually on the weekends, and every now and then, because we're near a university, some random college bro sit down at the table and try to talk to her, and every time what she'll do is she'll stop, she'll let them talk for about 10 seconds. That's how long they have to keep her attention. If she's not interested, she will, without a word, without looking angry, she'll just pick up her drink and walk away. It's a brilliant move.
Yeah.
She doesn't, really glare at them. She's not rude. Well, sort of rude. She just picks up her drink and walks away.
In order to avoid that, I just don't go places.
That's an effective solution.
Yeah.
That's an effective solution.
When I go places, it's usually to a concert, and I'm with my friends.
And nine times out of 10, that concert is performed by one single band.
Yes, correct.
That you've been basically stalking around the eastern half of the United States.
No, not stalking. That's terrible.
Obsessively shadowing, my bad.
Yeah.
Stalking sounds so bad.
It does, because I'm not stalking. I'm following and enjoying their shows because their shows are fun.
I have seen the band she's referring to. They are referring to.
Wow, you are
off today.
Off.
At least I caught myself that time.
Yeah, that's like the 6th time.
At least I caught myself that time. That means am I starting over with the whole she-they thing? Like,
I don't know.
What the fuck? I do know the band they are referring to, and honestly, following them around to concerts is not a bad choice.
Yeah.
Like,
there are worse bands to follow.
It's so...
They're a very good band.
They're so much fun.
Yeah, they're a blast. And I just love them
I'm
so
not
much.
even the biggest fan of their music. I just love the show they put on. Like,
yeah, I'm a big fan of them. Like, their music is really, really good.
Yeah,
and,
it's not bad.
They're very talented.
It's just not my favorite, but they put on such a fun show.
They put on a great show. It's always different. And that drummer is just super dreamy. Ooh, buddy.
Drummers usually are.
It's true. It's true. I
say this while sitting next to a
I
drummer.
know, right?
By the way, ladies, I'm a drummer. Yeah.
Drummers do the bang bang. But
well, I have the advantage of being a drummer is the great way to prove that I'm a white boy with rhythm.
That's true, yeah.
So, also, for the love of God, people stop clapping on the 1 and 3. It's not hard to clap on time. I've played enough shows. There was one.
We are going way off the rails.
We
now.
absolutely are, but I'm in the story now, and it infuriates me.
Okay.
So it's coming out.
All right.
One of my favorite paying gigs is getting paid to play at churches. Because they're usually really great musicians, really chill people.
Sure.
It's an easy gig, couple $100, not a big deal. Played at this big ass mega church. This was years ago. This was actually in Indianapolis. I can see the first 3 rows. With the stage lights, it's as far into the audience as I could see. There is this woman in the front row who is aggressively clapping on the 1 and 3. So sure was she that she was clapping on time that it was throwing me off because I thought I might be wrong. She was so confident in clapping on the wrong beat that I really did have to look down at my drum set and not look at her
my
because she
God.
was fucking me up. Clapping on time is not that hard. Here's how you do it. Look for the drummer, and when he hits the big drum between his legs that makes the snappy sound, clap on that one. That's it. Just do that.
Go with the snare.
I wasn't even going to assume that everyone knows what a snare is.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Fair enough. Yeah.
snare and kick. So if the song, very easy. And on behalf of every drummer on earth, for the love of God, it's not hard. Learn it. You infuriate all of us.
Anyway.
I'm so sorry. Please continue.
Yeah.
In case you can't tell, that bothers me a touch. So,
Yeah. So anyway, when I do go places, I go to shows, and I'm usually with my friends, which means people don't come up and talk to us
guys do have
unless
a group of women is more intimidating for
right.
to approach.
But also, like the friends that I'm usually with, we do have the one man because we have the married couple that's in our group, and when he's there, nobody comes and talks to us because they're like, "Oh, there's a man in that group." No.
They brought a bouncer.
They brought a man. A man.
Now,
But like when it is just like my, girlfriends or whatever, it's very rare that a man will come up and talk to us. And if they do, it's generally them coming up to us and saying, "You guys were kind of more entertaining than the band because of all your dance moves. Like, do you guys like choreograph stuff?" And we're just like, kinda. But also, like, we've been around a while and we follow them around, so we know the dances. So
better answer would be just to be like, because we're better than you. That's why.
I don't like saying that to people because I'm not better than them.
Really? Because you tell me you're better than me about every single time I see you.
You're not a regular person. I'm definitely better than you.
Thank you. Okay.
Not a compliment.
For anyone who's concerned, this is simply how we communicate.
We've talked about this before.
We have. And that's actually all of this. These hilarious stories about people failing to speak what their brains think or listen appropriately really just boils down to being able to talk and listen. And I will say that one of the what basically got me to be friends with Lil in the first place, the fact that I know how to listen to people. It's really that easy. The first time we met, you talked, I listened. It's not that hard,
Right.
And I'll be honest, not everything you were talking about is stuff that I'm interested in. That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
This is a human being sitting in front of you talking about something that they like.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to be a decent person and just listen.
Right.
It's not.
Yeah.
Because they're going to stop at some point. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, worst case scenario, eventually you go home. Like,
Right.
or you might do what I did. You might discover something you didn't know you enjoyed in the first place. The band we were mentioning earlier, you're the one who told me about them. I'd never heard of them until you mentioned them to me. Very much enjoy them now.
Yeah.
Like,
They're a good band.
They absolutely are. But all of this boils down to being able to simply express yourself and let others do the same. In any romantic relationship, that expressing yourself to your partner can be scary at first because you don't want to risk the relationship or something that you think is important and they might think is a deal breaker or they might find trivial. You don't want to get your feelings hurt by bringing up something and have your partner go, "Well, that's dumb." Like,
Yeah.
but you have to be willing to take that risk. You took the risk of trying to date them. Dating is a series of taking chances. It just is. You're rolling the dice until you get to know them really well.
Yeah.
How long had you known your partner before you started dating? Approximately. I don't need like
Almost a year, I think. Like we
So-
were friends for a while.
So yeah, you knew So you knew him.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes it easier. When you first meet somebody, if you go from strangers to friends to dating in, say, the span of like a month and a half, that's when communication early in a relationship can get really hard, and you do kind of have to roll the dice.
Yeah.
And just hope that your instinct was right about them, or that whatever side of themselves they've tried to show you up to that point is the real them.
Yeah.
There's always the joke about, people trying to get a new partner invested before they show them all the crazy. No, show them the crazy first thing.
That's what I do.
I'm not sure you could hide your crazy if you tried. I don't know that. I mean, it would take a team of psychologists to hide your crazy, and you can't travel with them. That'd be kind of obvious,
right?
But more than anything, as I said last episode, I'm gonna try to end these with something that resembles decent advice. And I say resembles because Lil and I are not experts.
No, God, no.
By any means. So everything we're saying, please, for the love of God, take it with all the salt you can find.
All of it.
If we happen to stumble into good advice, I promise you it was accidental.
Completely accidental. Take it with a mound of salt, just mountains and mountains.
Also, put that salt around the rim of a glass and fill that glass with tequila. And that would probably help as well. I was going to say margaritas, but to be honest, I hate margaritas. I mean, tequila over ice, a little bit of lime. There you go.
I don't drink tequila.
That is probably a good thing.
Yeah, it makes me angry. So.
I know.
Yeah. Like, unless you want me to fight somebody, which I've never been in a physical fight, so... there's probably potentially a lot of people you've met in bars that are glad you don't get into physical fights. I cannot imagine you fighting fair by any means. No, I'm 5'3" and very scrappy.
Yeah. But good advice. An attempt at good advice. If you're unsure about if communication with other people stumps you and you struggle with it, find a friend and honest to God, ask them to help you practice.
Yeah.
It sounds dumb. It sounds like the kind of thing that you shouldn't need help with. But it's okay to ask for help.
Yes.
It's also okay to not be great at something. Like, not everyone is an expert communicator. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
It may sound like Lil and I are, great at talking to crowds and great at giving advice. We're talking to each other alone in my apartment. There's no one else here. Right. This is easy because I'm basically talking to a friend that I've known for a decade and a half. This is easy. But if you struggle, ask for help.
Yes.
Same
Absolutely.
way Lil helped me with my damn stutter. Like, I didn't ask for help. You just started poking me every time my stutter would come out, and you go, fucking breathe. Fucking breathe. Stop it and breathe. Like, you were right. I needed that help. It's okay to ask for help. Find a friend and practice on them. But also don't expect everyone to want to listen to you. Not everybody wants to be the person that you talk to.
Right.
Just like it's okay to not want to listen to some people.
Right.
Like, you don't have to put up with the random jackass in the bar who wants to tell you all about his latest investment scheme. Like, no, you don't have to listen to that.
I don't care about your Bitcoin,
like,
Chad.
Yeah. Throw a drink at him and walk away. It's fine. If he is that kind of a Chad, he's probably become an expert. He can open his mouth and catch someone of the drink and basically get a free shot. Like, sorry, I'm stealing a bunch of jokes from How I Met Your Mother because Barney says that in the show. That show's problematic in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Neil Patrick Harris is not one of them.
Yeah, I would agree.
You
want to talk about a blob couple?
Jesus fucking Christ. I probably should have mentioned this last episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
Marshall and Lily are the blob couple.
They are bad.
That's kind of the point.
Yeah, I know.
And I fucking love Jason Segel, by the way.
I love him.
He's so funny.
God, I love him. Oh,
If you ever want to watch a movie that will make you cringe and laugh at the same time, it's called Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
oh God.
It's the cringiest movie you've ever seen, but God Almighty, is it funny?
It's really funny. I just hate Russell Brand so much.
I mean, he does play the douchebag villain, which is appropriate. So
It's appropriate because he's a douchebag and he's a villain.
yeah, so that casting seems dead the fuck on.
I know, right? What a piece of shit.
But yeah, so communication is one of those things that in even the most casual, barely know the person relationship, all the way up to someone that you're with every day, or it's critical through everything.
It is. And one big piece of advice I can personally give, if you are upset with your partner or even just a friend, do not give them the silent treatment. That is the most toxic bullshit ever.
I
will understand like not wanting to necessarily say anything right away, but there is a difference between not saying something right away to gather your thoughts and giving the fucking silent treatment.
You should already know what you did is a line that when I hear it from somebody, if they say it sincerely to me, I immediately no longer care about whatever they think I did.
Like I will joke around, like whenever my friends and I are messing around and they do something goofy, I'll like play mad. And they'll be like, "Oh, don't be mad." And I'm like, "You know what you did."
Yeah.
Like,
that's different
shit
though.
like that. But like I will never tell somebody, "You should know what you did wrong." No, they don't, because people are stupid.
Well, also, and this is I've noticed this a lot from usually hetero white girls more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
That you should if you don't know why I'm mad, I'm not telling you. Well, okay, then I no longer care.
Yeah.
Because if I've done something to upset you and you either lack the communication skills to express it to me, or you're banking it to hold over my head later, I no longer give a shit.
Yeah.
This is no longer a concern to me. Be mad. I don't care. Right. I got better things to do. Bye.
Right.
I'd only been dating this girl for a couple weeks, and this is a woman I was dating. She pulled one of those on me. I broke up with her on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to tolerate that kind of horse shit.
Yeah.
It's okay to look at someone and go, "You've upset me, but I'm not ready to talk about it."
That is completely different, because that is still communication.
Yes.
That's still saying like, I will talk to you about it, but right now I need to gather my thoughts.
Yeah.
Before we can communicate the
different.
concern.
But just giving someone the silent treatment or the, you should know what you did thing. No, those are
right.
Everyone needs lines that people can't cross. That's one of mine.
Yeah.
If I've upset somebody, I want to know how.
Right.
I can't always guarantee that whatever they're upset about, I can potentially solve or fix.
Right.
If someone has an issue with part of my personality, I can't guarantee that I can change that.
Yeah.
I still want to know what the issue is, though.
Mm-hmm.
I still want to hear them out.
Right.
But that silent treatment, or you should know what you did crap, no. That is actively refusing to engage with someone who's upset you because you're trying to, I guess, win the fight.
I've had friends, like I've had friendships end because they pulled that silent treatment crap with me.
Oh, it's bullshit. Yeah.
And so I just go, you know what? It's not worth my energy. Like, if you're not willing to talk to me about, whatever it is that you're upset with me about, I'm not.
This is back to that whole like two-way street thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Communication goes both ways.
Yes.
If you're not willing to talk about what's on your mind, but you seem to think that someone else should magically know what's on your mind, you're an idiot. Like,
right. Exactly.
I don't have a nicer way to put that.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
That's being willing to communicate has to be something you can do with, even when you don't want to.
Yeah.
Listening has to be something you can do even when you don't want to.
Right.
Especially for people you care about. Friends, people you're in a relationship with. I almost said lovers, which is the weirdest way to. Ugh, yes, I hate that phrase so much. Like,
don't ever say
I
that. I
hate
hate
that so
it.
much. I will never say
Leather.
anyone who uses that phrase. It's hilarious in comedies, but I've heard people use that in like actual conversation. I'm like, what
I
are you?
hate it.
What are you dating in 1873? Stop! Ugh! No, this is not Downton Abbey. Go away. Ugh. But
This isn't Downton Abbey.
like, oh no! Oh God! I'm so glad that show is done.
I never watched it.
No
so
idea how many people who like.
I've never watched it, so I have no idea.
I watched an episode, and I'll give the actors a lot of credit. The acting was great. The writing was phenomenal. I thought it was incredibly well written.
Dame Maggie Smith is in it, and
yeah,
she's
and
lovely.
she's amazing.
Yeah.
But it's just not something that it's not the kind of content that I enjoy.
Yeah.
I didn't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just not for me.
Yeah.
But I know several people who were, pretending to have British accents and like talking in a very very stilted older language because they watch the show all the time. Like,
Calm down.
like, what are you trying to audition? Like, fucking stop! Like, you're.
Yeah, I never watched it.
Ugh.
I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
And
I just know it existed, and
is-
Maggie Smith was in it. That's all I know.
bless Maggie Smith. She's a fucking treasure.
She is a treasure. That's true.
But yeah, more than anything, it's being able to express yourself and being able to listen.
Yes.
And I know that can be a challenge for some people. It's emotional. For people like me, it's physical. But it's worth figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. It's hard,
Yeah, it is.
but it's worth figuring it out. And
Once you have it figured out, it can definitely benefit you in the long run, regardless of the relationship that you're trying to salvage.
it's also really it's one of those things that when you figure out what kind of communication style works for you and how to, because not every style works for everybody. Once you figure out yours, you'll very quickly notice that a lot of things in life become easier.
Yeah, it's
Like,
wild.
It's because a lot of things that you change about yourself, there's no you don't really notice marked improvements.
Mm-hmm.
It's just gradual, slow, gets better over time.
Right.
But learning how to communicate, you'll notice oh shit, that was fuck.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like you'll have moments where you'll actually notice things that are a little bit easier. Like conversations were were noticeably more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Talking to a stranger didn't seem so weird. Like it can be really beneficial, but it really does take some effort.
Yeah.
And like I said, ask your friends for help. If you're bad at talking to people, ask one of your friends to let you practice on
Right.
Because your friends will tell you when you suck at it, and they'll be nice about it.
Yeah.
Unless you're friends with Lil, and then they'll tell you you're
yeah.
and then they'll make you cry.
Yeah.
So,
That's usually my goal in life. It's to make Will cry, not other people.
they've never made me cry.
That's true.
That's actually not true. That's actually not true. You stomped on my damn foot once so hard that I did cry. And it was completely an accident on your fault, but you were wearing those big ass platform heels. That's the only time you've ever made me cry.
That's true.
That's because I'm pretty sure you broke one of my toes.
Yeah. I did apologize.
I would not call that a sincere apology.
Okay, I may have been laughing, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, make sure you check us out on YouTube and Spotify.
At Babylon Bullshit.
At Babylon Bullshit, and then also our Patreon at Babylon Bullshit, and on Instagram at Babylon BS. That's going to be it for this episode because I want to move on from this topic because I feel bad that I made Will cry.
You broke my damn toe.
So anyway, guys, thanks so much for listening.
Yeah, seriously, thank you for listening. You can. So for now, our Patreon's a placeholder, but we encourage you to follow us on YouTube and Spotify and on Instagram. We will see you guys next week for our next episode. Be sure also to check out our other podcast, the Nerdcast. We're currently covering Star Wars.
Yeah. And there's so much to talk about.
There is, and we'll be launching into the Mandalorian series in next week.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your week. If you live anywhere in Ohio, be sure to wear a coat. And
It's fucking cold.
It's so cold. And we will talk to you guys next time. I've been Will.
I've been Lilith.
Have a good day.
Bye.